Space travel is absolute hogwash. It's a known fact that nothing mechanical or biological can fly without air pressure creating lift. It's also a fact that if an airplane flies higher than its designated altitude, the air pressure would eventually become too sparse to keep the plane airborne. Aeroplanes can't just keep going up and up. At some point, the air will become too thin to support their weight. Now, let's imagine that Earth's atmosphere suddenly disappeared, making the environment a vacuum. It is undeniable that aeroplanes would be unable to take off or fly, and that a plane in flight could not continue flying with no atmospheric pressure to support it. The plane would instantly stall and simply drop out of the sky. It wouldn't matter if the plane was traveling at 500 miles per hour or 17,500 miles per hour at the time, because the plane's thrust engines would be deprived of the essential air resistance it requires to push away from. This means it could no longer sustain any forward momentum whatsoever. There would also be no means of steering the plane. It would simply fall, nose diving uncontrollably until it hit the ground. Now, the following facts are indisputable. You can float the heaviest cargo ship in the world on any ocean. For example, Shell's cargo ship, the Prelude, weighing approximately 600,000 tons fully laden, can float on any ocean because it is supported by displaced water pressure. And you can fly the biggest commercial aircraft in the world, such as the Ukraine-built 640-ton transport aircraft, Antonov, because it is supported by air pressure. So, what supports the 450-ton ISS in the airless vacuum of space? How can it possibly fly and maneuver in an environment that entirely lacks any form of physical resistance? How is it possible for the ISS to be supported on absolutely nothing whilst achieving a speed of 17,500 miles per hour with a thrust that has absolutely nothing to push away from? As the 1960s progressed, NASA scientists, including Wernher von Braun, would have undoubtedly discovered that nothing, absolutely nothing mechanical or biological, can fly in the airless vacuum of space. And that's why the moon landings were faked. These three men did not travel to the moon in Apollo 11. They never even entered the command module of the spacecraft. The gigantic Saturn V rocket lifted off minus its 3 passengers, who remained on terra firma, safe and sound. Apollo 11 never flew in space or traveled to the moon, which it was never designed to do. Like all the previous Apollo missions, it was designed to be just a hugely expensive, disposable film prop that was never meant to leave Earth or fly in space. In full view of the cameras, Apollo 11 climbed skywards, before arcing and heading downrange in the direction of the Atlantic Ocean. The Apollo spacecraft was meant to disappear out of sight of cameras and prying eyes before being destroyed, and dropped into the deepest part of the vast ocean. But something clearly went badly wrong, and the premature death of Apollo 11 was unintentionally filmed, capturing the terrifying moment the command module unexpectedly appeared, falling from the heavens, completely engulfed in a mass of flames. Truth is, if these 3 astronauts had really been sitting inside their fiery command module, they would have suffered the same terrible fate as Grissom, White, and Chaffee, and would never have made it to their press conference. Still believe these 3 men made it to the moon? Space travel is absolute hogwash. Please, prove me wrong if you can. Thank you for watching. If you would like to learn more about the space travel hogwash, please consider liking and subscribing. Hope to see you again very, very soon.